What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mersh in here, um, seeing what's going on with all everybody. Hope everybody had a great holiday. Um, went for a couple of heads here. Uh, yeah, I'm out here wondering what is going on with everyone out there in the world. How you guys doing? What is new? What is good? What is cracking around your way? You know, I think I got to start doing more of these lives. Um, I've been watching some lives, you know, and there's some interesting people out there. You know, they're interesting people, and I want to in a sense, build with some of the people out here that has some knowledge, has some experience. Um, hey, what's up, Troy? What's up, Troy? You know, blessings from Sydney. What's up, Australia? You know, the Australian people. Um, I'm here in the East Coast of the states. Um, Fart on. What's up? What's up? What's up? Homer the donut. You guys are incredible. What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about some experience that I had. I had a crazy experience. Uh, and it's gonna be an interesting story. What's up, Antoine? No? Hope you're all well. You know what I mean? Uh, it's okay. But check it out. My story is like this. All right. So I went and I did an investigation at this cemetery, right? I took all the little things that you have to take with you that everybody suggests to take, right? Uh, a ghost box, a recorder, um, and whatever, and a camera, right? Somehow to record your stuff. So I'm there, and as I'm going through, I mean, you could actually check it out on my channel. It's the Greenwood Cemetery one. I don't know if I've spoken about this before. I doubt I have because it was a very tough thing that I went through. Um, but anyway, I went to the cemetery, yeah, thinking that it's going to be proper. Hey, what? Hey, draw trendings. Yeah, what up? What up, Finley? How are you? But check this out. Check this out. So I went to this cemetery, Greenwood Cemetery, and I'm walking through. The moment I get there, first is this place is immense. It's ginormous. Um, hey, Jack's cool, man. Or lady, sorry. Thank you for joining. I went to this cemetery, and as I'm driving in, the first thing that gets you is how beautiful it is. It's a very beautiful place. It's peaceful, but there's something there. It's like I could feel like and something there. I was getting like zaps, like I want to say zaps in like my from my equipment, but I can't say that. I got electric zaps through my hand. both of them actually. And I remember those zaps, they hurt. And I don't know how or where because there's nothing on the grounds that is supposedly electrical. I don't see any, I don't remember seeing anything that would create that feeling. So right off the bat, I had like this bad feeling. And yo, what's up? What's up, Andy? What's up, Aploy? Aploy, maybe? My day's doing well. Thank you so much. Uh, home with like kind of, you never know. But check this. So I'm going through the cemetery, right? And the first thing that happened, I remember, was going in there and being in awe. This place is huge. It's beautiful. It's, in a sense of peace. That's what I mean. I don't feel that, a place where people are laid to rest is something incredible. But there was something about this cemetery. Uh, and as I'm going through the cemetery, right, something, there's different like areas. I mean, this place is humongous, right? So there's different areas in the cemetery, and I believe that there's even a Confederate area. I know that there's soldiers there. Well, at least a soldier uh, area. I think it's actually there's a sign there, and it might be Confederate, like Confederate soldiers. I'm not sure. The dates, yeah, they were all different dates, so that's why I don't want to say Confederate this or that. I feel that it was more of like just whomever is served their country, they're buried in this location. Hey, cool, yo! Anybody that subs, I sub back. All good. So I remember driving past that spot because I didn't feel anything apart from the awe of how many people are laid to rest there. I'm talking about hundreds. Like this. Just if you were to get out and just look at it, it's like hilly, sort of, kind of, and it's not very hilly. Let's just say it's got like little, little ups and downs, right? Like the ground meanders a bit. If we could say that, because it's not really hilly. It's just meanders. So I drive past there. I go up around this bend and this big oak tree with all these like what's that thing called? Spanish moss hanging off of it. So there's a bunch of Spanish moss hanging off this big oak tree, and it was hot out. So I was like, wow. And something called me to that spot. You know, I didn't have my equipment on or anything like this, or my radio and my voice recorder. I was just trying to build up the strength that I felt that I would need to do this investigation. And as I reached that tree by the hill, there was there's like a bench there, like a concrete bench. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna park my car here. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna sit at this bench and I'm gonna see if this is gonna be something that I want to do, or maybe it's better just to leave it. I sat at the bench, realizing that it was actually a part of somebody else's memorial. It's just that the bench was sort of facing the road, right? The path, the road, and the memorial was behind like the tree. Like, I mean, the actual graves were behind the tree, like the tombstones. And they were I wouldn't say they were that old. Maybe from the 70s, 80s, something like this. That the people were buried there, and there were pictures. Like there were a lot of pictures in the cemetery. So I parked, got out, sat there for a moment, realized where I was sitting, and then I felt that I didn't want to disrespect. You know, so I'm there. Uh, I get up and I start walking, and that's when I got these shocks, like the shocks that I mentioned before. I felt these shocks go through my hands. So I almost dropped my radio. And these radios, if you know, back, a couple of years ago, they were like bucks. I would buy my own and make my own. But they were bucks, for no reason. It's just like a weird thing. Um, so I'm thinking that maybe no, no. Actually, the radio I had was the PSB 7, the one that's made for this by Gary Galka. It just scans stations. You know, you scan stations and you attempt to try to hear something coming through. I did a lot of experimentation with this, and I realized that the scanning really doesn't uh, mean much. It's the empty frequencies in between. But I didn't realize this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a story. It's a story about my experience in Greenwood Cemetery and what happened afterwards. You know, and this is going back to when I mentioned before, where you get like in life as you go around your day, you're gonna bump into different people. Some people are good, some people are bad, and some people are just there. They're kind of like roamers. I call them roamers or hitchhikers. Uh, oh, you sir, yeah. Listen, keep listening. You know, maybe you can pick something up. Anyway, so I'm there. Sorry guys, I keep breaking up the story, but I want to be polite and say hello to everyone as well. I'm there. I'm walking through. I got the shocks in my hand, and I almost dropped my radio. Right, I think that SB 7 at that point was around $70 maybe. So, but there's no way for it to shock you. Like you can't get shocked from this. It runs on batteries, and there was my hands were dry. There was nothing wet. You know, it was a dry day. It was hot, humid. But I got these shocks going through my hands. So as I'm walking around, I turn my box on. I turn the little voice recorder on as well. As I'm walking through, I start picking up things on the voice recorder because I would ask questions and then I would play it back just to see if there was anything there. Some things I thought I heard, just you know, but then I was thinking maybe it's the wind. You know, that paradolia. It's a real thing. You know, so you got to be careful that you do the right. You have an open mind to this, and you're aware of that. What you know, how our brains digest and register stuff. So when I'm playing the stuff back, I'm hearing different things. You know, some of the stuff was like help. I was getting a lot of like help, and it's very clear. You know, it's very clear. I try to put that into the into my video. If you guys would please check it out, the Greenwood video that's in my Greenwood Cemetery video that's in my channel. And I'm walking through and I go by these different graves. And the video starts like where I was by a grave of two young men, two young boys that died like in the early 30s, you know, like something like that. But I know it was like in the early, you know, in the early bit of the 1900s. And then you hear something really clear that with me, it sort of like made a connection with them because it said the consequences of not following instructions, something like this, right? Because I was trying to figure out like why, you know, in my head, why these poor guys, you know, and they were brothers, right? And they had this very, it's like their pictures were like their school pictures, you know. So I felt, I felt close to them, you know, in a sense. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I see them as younger people, like younger than me, you know. Uh, and I remember, you know, high school and all this, you know, college and all this, and how you know we vibe with our peers, right? Like our peers, we connect with them because we have the same understanding of life, right? Let's just put it like that. So I'm going around and I'm walking, and there were a couple of graves that were older, but they look fresh, you know. So I'm there and I'm working the spirit box, and I'm also working the voice recorder, and I'm trying to pick things up. And I picked up a lot of things, you know. Oh, take care, Homer. Thank you for checking me out. Thank you, Homer. Thank you. So this is how the story begins. It begins in that cemetery. The little bit of experience that I had. Suddenly, I became like so nauseous. Like I almost, I felt very faint and nauseous. I felt like I needed to stop and just turn everything off and just stop. Like everything just seemed surreal. Like nothing. Like I felt like I was having whatever happened to them. I felt like I was going through it, or whatever anguish or pain that their family went through. I felt like I was feeling it. Uh, my heart was racing. I felt very anxious. My stomach was in knots. My head, I remember getting this sharp pain through my head. Um, Bringing up the hairs on my arms, and I was just ill. Like I did not feel well. And so what I did was I continued on for a little bit more, you know, but I didn't stay too long there. If you look at the video's not that long, and I did, edit some parts out of it for me walking and me like kind of gagging because I did have a couple of gaggies there, and I couldn't figure out why I felt so like I'm gonna fall. Anyway, I I I I played everything back. I listened to everything, and while I was home, I was in our living room. And where I used to live at, we had these big, forget about the fireplace. Say the fireplace was in here, or this would be like a big windows that, like sliding glass windows. This is in another house that we lived in. So where this fireplace would be like behind me, we'll just say it was just these windows. And hey, what's up, Shook? So I was at home and I was not feeling well. And it just stayed with me. Like I was not feeling well. It stayed with me. And I couldn't figure out what to do, you know. So I'm cleaning the house, I remember, and then I opened up that sliding window, that sliding glass window, door, sorry, to the patio. I mopped the floor. I remember putting on the fan. Did I put on? Yeah, I put on the fans, and we had like a couple of ceiling fans in the different rooms here. I turned them all on and to dry the floor. And it was one of those really still nights, like humid, hot, and there was no reason for anything. All right. Suddenly, I heard this loud bang, like a loud bang, like if somebody took that door and they slid it and they shut it and they slammed it. Right. We had these vertical blinds, those long vertical blinds that go in front of it. That you could open, close, slide across, or whatever. Uh, I had them sort of. I slid open the door, but I kept the blinds down so that because it's busy around where I used to live at. It's busy around here as well, but I didn't want people looking in. Yeah. Suddenly, when I heard that noise, a gust of air came in. Like and it went through me. Like I felt it go through me. And talk about the shivers. I felt. I don't know what I felt. All right. Now we have these hallway. I had this hallway. So when you first came into our home, there was a long hallway, like a little corridor. To the right, there was a bedroom, and then you keep going on, and then you hit the living room, and then the dining room area, the kitchen, and then there was another bedroom at the end, and then we had the living room and all this, the patio. So just like a basic, blueprint in your head. See what I'm talking about. So in that long hallway, I would keep our dog. I had a little dog, a little Chihuahua. Rest in peace. She died, my little baby. And I had this like a wooden child, like where you put up those child fences where they don't so the kids you keep them inside. And I would put that up there so that our Chihuahua didn't come in because she would chew up stuff, and then she would like poo and pee everywhere, and it'd be me cleaning it. You know. So I was like, that I felt that wind come rush through me. This is the same day. Uh, well, check this out. Let me know. No, yes, trust in God. Yes, yes. That's actually where I was getting to. That's how I got out of it. But check this out. Check this out, Shlock. No, no, no. Listen. So when after that wind came through, that just that gust of air, like it was a very still, humid, hot night. I don't know if you guys are aware of like tropical type environments, but it was one of those. Even like I used to live in New York. In New York in the summertime, you get those very still, hot, humid nights as well. You know, no air. It's like you're. It's like ugh. It's oppressive. So there was no reason for that air, and there was no reason for it to go through me the way it did. I never had any feeling like this before. No, no, seriously, seriously. It was a gust. It was a gust. So again, so I had that long hallway, and I had a wooden fence up. But I had it against the wall because I was mopping the floor. I was cleaning the place up. I remember, so I put it against the wall instead of having it closed off where we would keep our dog at. After that wind, that gust of air came in, right? It scared the crap out of me. So I shut the door. I shut the door real quick, and the moment I shut the door, I felt like I was gonna fall, like straight down, like I was gonna drop. So okay, so when that happened, I try to collect myself and try to understand what's going on. Suddenly, that wooden little gate, it slammed to the ground. Now this thing is on a hook. Like I had a hook, so I could put it up, right? So it's like hung up, like out of the way. So it's not. If I walk past it, I'm not gonna bump it or anything like this. It's on a hook. It was on the ground, like hard. It felt like somebody slammed it onto the ground. All right. So I'm like, oh shit, you know. And then I go into my spouse's room, and I'm talking to her, and we had this. Both of the rooms had ensuite bathrooms, like the the bathrooms in the room. So inside of the bathroom, all of the stuff that was on the sink fell into the sink. It crashed into the sink. Uh, hey, wake up! Yeah, come. Oh, no, I'm sure you will, man. I also hear that when you do like remodeling or something like this, apparently there's stuff that you awake. I don't know. I don't know. I don't do carpentry. I don't know. But these are things that I hear, right? And that I read about. So the stuff fell into the sink. All right. I got a baby. She wasn't speaking or anything like this. She was still babbling, right? And a friend of mine called me, and I was like, here, check out my baby, da da da. And then she literally said, "F you," "F you, you a hole." It just came out. And then he's looking at me like, "Why are you teaching? Why are you speaking, rudely in front of her so that she could learn this?" I was like, "No, I didn't." And that made it even worse for me. Like I was like, "Oh my gosh." So we had these things on the doorknobs where my child could not open a door. Um, so you have to squeeze them to turn them. Dude, the doors were opening. The doors were opening for her. All right. So I grabbed all of my stuff, all of my equipment, all of my different types of uh, everything. I had like a whole kit and caboodle, like a little box full of this stuff. And I went into a room that I had as my office. And that office had like a big walk-in closet, like a big walk-in closet. And everything was kind of neat. It was kind of empty because we didn't really use it. But I would store stuff in there for work. And I that the opposite side of that closet was the living room, right? I would hear constant knocks and bangs, and it sounded like there was somebody throwing things around in there. So I remember running into that room, you know, uh, just not knowing what to expect. I didn't see anything in the room. I opened up the closet and everything was in order. Everything was in order. So I was thinking about putting a camera in there, you know, or one of my recorders, just to leave it and to see if I could pick this stuff up, because I'm either that or I was going crazy, you know. Um, I did, and here's the craziest part. Every time I would put that radio, I mean the little recorder in there, um, 2 or 3 minutes later, it would the batteries were dead. You know, I think I did it twice, and then I said, "Forget about that. I'm not doing that shit no more." You know what I mean? There's something strange going on here. So I continued having this illness, like just a very just illness, and then I started developing like anxiety, like severe anxiety. Like we all have anxiety to an extent, right? But this was an anxiety that I couldn't, I didn't know how to, I didn't understand it, you know, and it lasted like maybe like a week or two. Like it was like a living nightmare. Like I couldn't get out of this nightmare. Yeah, yeah. No, no, spirits are real, bro. I wouldn't be scared of ghosts. Mm. Well, Collins, I that's it, you never know. You know, like you never know. Like some people are good people, some people are mean or evil. You know, inherently evil, and some people are roamers, right? They're. It's not like they're good or bad. It's that they may have some type of mental disorder. They may be on drugs, that alter their brain, their mental chemistry, and they're not the same as they were at one point. I mean, I have again family members like this. Substance abuse is real, and it creates a person that roams. They're going to look for whatever they can, and roaming to find their next fix. And that's how I feel some of these things are. I can't. I don't know how to label them. Would be an archetype, the spirit, ghosts, whatever. But this doesn't really mean anything to me. Like ghost spirit, haunting, poltergeist. Blah, blah. To me, this is all archetype. It's sort of like a way to label something that we don't understand, and that could be within yourself too. And I was thinking that I was going bananas. I thought I was going crazy for a minute. So this went on for a while. I remember one morning getting up. It was like on a weekend. I was off from work, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make everyone food. I'm gonna surprise everyone. I'm up early. I'm gonna cook food for everyone. And I said, let me be quiet. Let me keep everyone asleep. I don't want to bother anyone. You know. Suddenly, the smoke alarms all like we had a couple of them, right? They all went off. I panicked. I was like, what the hell? What's burning? Or maybe there's a steam. Somebody's taking a shower. Sometimes the steam comes off of can set off these smoke alarms, especially if they're older. But we live in a fairly new place, and I I still have no answer as to why they all went off, and then they stopped one by one. Um, they all went off at one time, and then one by one. And I tried to. I couldn't find a reason for it, But this went on. Stuff like this went on for a long time. Um, oh, you know what? Yes, yes, I hear that. Hers, between midnight and 3. That's a very open time. And a lot of these things would happen at night. They would happen at night. But this particular instance, when the alarms went off, the smoke alarms went off, it was early, like maybe 5:30, 6 a.m. You know, it was early. The air was still still. The energy was still in the air. But it was nothing out of the ordinary. Like there was no storms, nothing that I could figure out that would trigger these alarms. And now they're hardwired with battery backups, right? Because I tried to take the battery out of them, because I didn't want to wake everybody. But the crazy part was that my family didn't hear it, so but they flash, like these alarms, they flash and they were flashing. I was like, what the hell is going on? This went on like 2 weeks. So what happened was I picked up the Bible and I started, to pray and to hope and to wish that all of this would stop. Um, I ended up taking all my stuff, and we had a compactor. The trash can had a compactor. I put like thousands of dollars worth of equipment in this thing, and I just smushed it in a compactor. And then like over the course of like 2 or 3 days, everything stopped. You know, but suddenly I got this pain in my left hip, right? And that pain was there to the point where I went to the doctors and they couldn't find anything wrong. And I was almost walking with a cane. Like it hurt so bad sometimes that I couldn't walk straight. I would walk kind of like limping. And it reminds me of that story. I believe it was Jacob fighting this the angel, right? And he touched his hip and he messed him up. And I was like, damn. So yeah, I guess the moral of the story, I know it's kind of broken up and it's not straight. Trying to read things. No, I'm sorry. Wake up. I'm not trying to ignore anyone. I just wanted to try to finish the story so that it's not all broken up. I'm sorry about that. 3 a.m. is to pray to the Lord. Yes, I think that you should pray all the time. And have like a relationship with the Lord, with God, with Allah, Jehovah, whatever you feel that is your spiritual guide, right? And make sure that your connection is clear, and that your intent is sincere. You're being honest. You're being the best person that you can in what you're saying. You're not bullshitting. You're being sincere. That's how I got out of that, right? So I haven't really done many more of these interviews. I don't like to call them ghost hunts. I don't like to call this. All sounds too cliche, but it was like an interview. It's not like a science experiment, right? Let's just call it an experiment. Hey, Rody. Hello. Jawaho. Jawaho. What's that? I'm not sure. But yeah, so I make a long story all broken up to summarize it. I went to this cemetery. I did some ghost experimentation, ghost again, using that term loosely. I ended up getting really sick. I brought a hitchhiker or a roamer home with me, right? And it it screwed me up for about 2 weeks, a good 2.5 weeks until I had to remove myself from it. Then I had this permanent like friggin' pain in my hip. Doctors did again. I went to the doctor. They didn't see anything. They just said take what the hell was Advil. Advil. They prescribed ibuprofen, like these big ibuprofens, and I was like, that's okay. I mean, it worked for a little bit, but the pain would always come back. It took me months, maybe years, for that pain to go away because that video is kind of old. Uh, hey there, Roddy. I'm well. I'm well. How are you, Robbie? I I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I collect a lot of books. I'm a big avid reader. Um, I've got books everywhere actually, and a lot of the books that I have are you know interesting books. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, there can most definitely be something riding along with me, but maybe it's sort of taught me how to. It's not something evil, you know. If it was, man, I would know. I've been there, man. I was so sick, and it's very very unnerving. Very, it makes you question reality. You know, like you wonder, what's real and what's not now. Is this all like a creation, like a mental creation? Am I imagining this? Is my imagination suddenly become so strong that I'm projecting it, and I'm somehow projecting, things to happen? I don't know. Uh, hey, Michael, how are you? Yeah, yeah, I'm from the States. Um, right. I'm from the States. Uh, Wings of Emerald. That's a cool name. I like that. I haven't seen a ghost as people would interpret it or Hollywood would interpret it, but I see things fly like something really black. Even at night, like when everything is really dark, I could still see like something darker go past. Um, I used to that used to freak me out. Like it used to freak me out, but I've seen it so often that I became sort of like accepting of it. And the more accepting of things that you become, the less they have, I guess, to feed off of. You know, they're no longer gaining your attention. You just sort of accept it, and they kind of get bored and they leave you alone. Maybe I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like, I scrolled through and I watched other people's live streams, and then you see like a lot of people generating like this type of bad vibe, and the people that are streaming ignore them, and then they go away. I mean, I personally, I I, I encourage it. If you guys want to have fun, have fun. I don't care. I'm all about that. Um, at 2:47 a.m. What's that, Mr. Funkadelic dude? I am a little bit paranormal, I guess. I'm a little bit different, I guess, in my way of thinking and how I see things and how I personally interpret it. You know, um, I see beyond things. So to me, things don't really stand for face value. So I guess I don't judge a book by its cover. Put it like that. All right. I always want to see more and learn. I think that learning is the best way to put it, even if that puts me into like a paranormal. Um, uh, if I'm projecting that. Hello, South Korea. How are you? Yes, they are. Yo, I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna have to write that down. Your hair follicles are going to another realm. I'd say another dimension. You know, I try to keep them neat though, but I'm going gray. Yeah, it is what it is. It's 3:40 a.m. in Korea. Out here, it's I'm on the east coast of the states. It's 1:40 p.m. Yo, what's up? Yo, what's good? Eights gamers. How are you, man? How are you? Yo, so does anybody else have any type of craziness that's happened to them? Again, check out that Greenwood Cemetery video. I'm not out here to really push it. It just goes along with the story. And this is again one of the reasons why I never gone back. I have gone to other cemeteries. I think there's Baldwin in there as well. And another one, and that was wild too, because in Baldwin they have these like what are they called? Mausoleums, with I guess people are just slid in, you know, and everything is metal. So when I remember going through there, and I had the radio on, and something came through like what was it called? It said something so intriguing. The Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden. If you guys understand, the Iron Maiden was that medieval torture device, right? And that's kind of what these people are in, these metal boxes, and it's all death. Uh it's not really cool. Your new song Steps. Yeah. I mean, put that link in the chat. I don't care. I don't really care. Yeah, y'all could promote yourselves. You know what I mean? Put it up. Actually put a link and I'll check it out. I'm good with that. Iron no no. Iron Maiden. Maiden. Like Maiden. I'm telling you. Uh, You guys are nuts, man. I love it though. I love it, man. Keep it coming. Uh, I don't know if you promote it. I don't know. I don't even know. But I don't care if people. If you want to put a link on here for your video for your if you do music or whatever you do on YouTube. I met a lot of different people that in school and all that where they do stuff like poetry. They read poetry and stuff like this. Or they'll make videos like the reaction videos, and all of that stuff is eh, you know and the poetry I like if it's original, like if it's your own poetry I like it, like I want to hear your talent, but if you're reading somebody else's stuff, I guess maybe if you're a very good presenter it'll be interesting, but I'm not really too keen on hearing something else when I could read it. I wouldn't mind. I own several poetry books as well. So, but no, yeah, I see people um, promoting all types of stuff, and I don't care. Promote. Yeah, guys. Again, if you like this paranormal type stuff, it's even open, man. We could talk about anything. However, if you like it, subscribe. So you'll know when I'm on. I don't really go on too often, but I will make an effort to go on at least every few days, for a little while, just to say hello. Um, I think it's important to maintain sort of like I guess like a presence. I really don't even care. I could easily be a hermit. Like it wouldn't really matter. But I feel that this YouTube community is really intriguing. What's intriguing to me is not just the people that go live, like myself now, recently, which I started doing, but the people that are already on there, and also the people that are commenting, because you're going to get some interesting comments. Yeah, I do play chess, Jeffrey Epstein, you nutter. Um, yes, I play chess. I'm sorry I didn't see your message before there, sir, Mr. Epstein. Uh, your alt account. He makes me. Yeah, I mean, I make music myself. I've made music. I've written books. I've written poetry more than books. And that's why I guess that I would say that I appreciate a person that presents their own material than you know reading somebody else's. Doesn't seem honest. It kind of seems like it's not really that person, or their sentiments. My elo is about 1,200, give or take. It depends. It depends. But about 1,200. There's a lot of cheaters though. Like if you play online, I got a chestnut. A chestnut is that board where you could play directly with live chess or chess.com. Live chess is better actually than chess.com, and I play a lot of the bots more than people because there's a lot of people either hustling me as I play them for what reason I have no idea, uh, or they're just straight up using. What's it called? That app, small fish. The small fish on or stockfish. Small fish is the app that you could download on your phone on an iPhone. I think Android has it as well. I gotta check my Android. But stockfish, yeah, they'll put your moves into stockfish and then kick your ass all of a sudden, and it gives them a fat elo score. But I mean, what's the point when you're cheating? You're not learning anything. I like to challenge, so I'd rather face a person that's better than me than face a person that I could beat. You learn by losing. You learn from your mistakes. That's how you get ahead in life, by making mistakes. If you never allow yourself to make mistakes, you're not going to grow. Hey, Blue Gamer, how are you? Hey, Ali Vincent, how are you? My yellow's around 1200, 12 like 1180. What's your yellow? I'm doing well, Blue Gamer. I just, gave a little story out about my experiences when I was doing an experiment with radios and voice recorders in cemeteries, and what happened to me when I had hitchhikers and roamers attach themselves to me. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, Blue. Thank you. Um, your beard is. I don't. I hope it's for real. I mean, it's going gray. I mean, yeah, it's real. I'm gonna have to get me some dye one of these days and dye my beard, maybe. But I have no time for that. Hey, Bryson, how are you? Hi, hi, hi. Yeah. So yeah, guys. That was my quick little story about what happened to me, and I kind of put it out here more as a warning, you know, because there's a lot of people that do like paranormal, occult. Well, actually, occult, esoteric things don't really, you know, they're. It's not what it's supposed to be. I wouldn't recommend going out there looking for like evil things, because you got to be careful what you wish for, and that's fact. Um, Hello there. Sorry, I can't read Korean, so I couldn't read your name, but I believe that's Korean there. Hey, Luis, how are you? Good to see you on here. But yeah, just I think the key really is when you do experiments or anything like this, or if you wanted to, you have to be sincere with yourself. You have to be stable, mentally stable. If you're prone to anxiety or anything like this, like I was for a little while, maybe it's not for you. Because again, uh, things happen, and when things happen, there's nothing you could do about it but ride that storm. Hopefully, it's never nothing bad, but it is what it is. Um, I personally witnessed a UFO. All you guys might think I'm strange and stuff like this because I love like the paranormal and cryptoids and all this different thing of or the different aspect of life, right? That people kind of shun away from, but it's okay. You know, I seen a UFO, and that's in one of my videos in the paranormal conduct thing. I was at an airport, and it was like I don't even know 2 or 3 in the morning, and in the sky suddenly there was this giant orange, like a blood orange type colored object. It just like appeared, and it seemed to have like a tail, you know. So picture in your head that like a comet maybe, yeah, with a tail. You're gonna see that tail. However, it kind of ended. There was nothing leaving it, and it wasn't really moving. And it was like 2, 3 in the morning, and I was thinking maybe it's a reflection of something, right? Through, from the clouds. But at the same time, I realized that there were no clouds. If you check out my videos, one of the videos though is not really a UFO. I learned, I debunked it. I found out that it was actually a shuttle taking off, and why it splits apart. It's the boosters coming off, and that's actually a cool video to see anyway. If you wanted to check that out. But when I seen this thing in the sky, I was awestruck. I was I was awestruck. It was just like another experience, and it reminded me of how beautiful this world is and how much we don't know about it. We assume we know, right? But we don't really understand everything around us. I mean, what do they say? We can perceive and understand, and science knows about 10 or 15% of matter. You know, the other 90 to 85% of it is dark matter. So what makes us say, how can we just assume something? We can't. You know, uh, like I always tell everybody else, if we could see the full spectrum of light, we'd be blind, right? We'd have to become a different thing to perceive or to navigate that environment. The same thing with like sounds. We only have a certain decibel of sound that we could hear. Animals prove that all the time, right? Um, Cell phone. I mean, look, we're wireless right now, right? Cell phone, computers, blah blah blah. The internet, everything is around us, and all of that affects us as well. You know, positively and negatively. You know what I mean? I really think that it depends on you, and your inner strengths, like what you're capable of allowing yourself to either accept or reject. Like that's nonsense. However, I would be more skeptical and err on the side of uh, that can be something than that person. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be skeptical. I would look at the skeptic and say, look, you should really, think about what you're saying, what you're assuming before you say something that may that may allow you to miss something incredible. You know, because at the end of the day, we're just speaking, right? It doesn't really matter. I care less what you say. I'm sure that you guys care less what I say, and that's just how it goes. And also, as you go and you grow and you learn, uh, you're gonna realize. I'll tell you what. As I was getting my degrees, right, I realized how foolish I really am, and I also learned that that's the first step to actual knowledge. Recognizing your ignorance. If you could recognize your ignorance and you could change that, you're on your first step of attaining something different and changing your life. Um, and I think that I learned a lot of lessons through my experiences and through schooling. Um, I got about 5 minutes here, and I am out of here. Hi there, Munes. Yeah, 100%. I believe in that. 100%. I believe that it happens all the time, and I think that it's only called paranormal. They put that prefix to it because of just to categorize it. You know, it's like a miscellaneous normal. Instead, that's what it should be called, misc normal than paranormal. Because it's a miscellaneous thing. It could be anything at the end of the day. It's just miscellaneous because we don't know how to categorize that. And that takes me back to archetypes and how people would categorize anything that goes bump in the night as a spirit, a ghost, a demon, this, that, the other. When in reality, it it's just a label. It's not reality. But people, I got a couple of minutes here left. Again, if you guys subscribe, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Whoever subscribes, I'll subscribe. I will subscribe back. I want to spread the love, spread the knowledge, and I want to keep these things going. Uh, I'll try to come on back later today. I've got a few things going on. However, it doesn't mean that I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I'll be back on. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to be back on. You know, um, I see some people on here all day long, like constant. I don't know how they do it. Like, I can't do that. I've got too many things going on. But the time that I have that I could share with you guys, especially my experiences, more than happy to do so. And I'm happy and grateful for you guys to be here, checking it out. You know, but really, it's almost an hour here, and that was my limit. I can't believe I did an hour. I was going to do a half an hour only, but I said if I'm going to go further, an hour is my limit, and I shall move on. Please, guys, are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Um, and yes, again, I do believe in paranormal. Again, miscellaneous activities. I'm not trying to change definitions, right? I'm only trying to use my understanding to define them. So this is my interpretation of it. Just coming back to you. I'm not a regurgitator. I'm not going to say something just because somebody else said it. I'm going to do my own experiment. I need my own experience in order for me to sort of be able to put that in some sort of category in my brain for me to create some type of understanding of it. And then once I have an understanding of it, then I could explain it. But again, it's going to be in my own way. It's not going to be, some regurgitated nonsense from some guy that every little thing spooks him. You know what I mean? That's not just how it is. But again, going once, going twice. Anybody wants to say something, wants a shout out, you know what I mean? Whatever you guys need here. I actually got to do a class. Um, so yeah, I gotta run out. Uh, I wear a size 11. Uh, hey, Jason.